And we are live. It's Sagittarius, folks. Yes, the new moon Sagittarius is making its way. We're just moving over. We're going to be moving over to the 26-degree mark right now. The 21 degrees are there. A child and a dog with borrowed eyeglasses. I believe that's what the illustration says, right? And when we move to our little safari, let's go full screen with our safari. And because we're on a safari tonight, and that safari is Jupiter, right? This is Sagittarius, and that new moon is just shining through. Let's go to it. Okay, so a child and a dog with borrowed eyeglasses. And the second tab reads, remember what happened? We know what happened, don't we? Mercury went retrograde right after the moon, and now we're dealing with Tesla. Tesla recalls nearly all 2 million of its vehicles on the U.S. roads. Yes, it's a true thing. And this is how it all pulls in together with our new moon, because we can remember that first video that we posted on this playlist. And that Cancer was on the ascendant, and that Mars, Mr. Metal, and the Moon, Mr. Mortality, and the Sun, Mr. Ego, were all sitting there, right? And here we have the autopilot system can give drivers a false sense of security. And look what's being called. Look what's happening. Mercury is retrograde, so that re-word or that re-syllable goes in front of those words. In calling, when you call somebody, that's Mercury. You reach out and call somebody, you reach out with your hand, which is ruled by Mercury, and the recall. So and it's all about U.S. safety regulators. But we move over here to the new tab here, and here we have the chart Here we have the chart for Elon Musk, and where is Elon Musk's ascendant? Holy cow, does the father have a sense of humor? Yes. And look where Mercury is. Elon Musk has a Cancer ascendant at 13 degrees. Yes, sir, Bob. And here I am, Mercury in Cancer at 13 degrees. It's a true thing. I told you this yesterday. I'm not making this up. I don't draw up the charts. I just report them. So cheers. Here's to you. It's midnight. It's happy hour. So when Mercury messes up, folks, when Mercury messes up, you can't hide. And look at where Mercury is. He's right there. Remember, Mercury's a safety guy, right? He's on Mars. Mars is just clashing about, right? Mercury wants things to be safe. He wants that because Mercury is getting paid by Jupiter to deliver people or their information safely, right? That's what a courier does, right? I need you to safely get this from point A to point B with very few, if no problems. We would prefer no problems whatsoever. And Mercury takes that order by Jupiter, the management team. I mean, it's this Jupiter month. We're going to learn all about. We're going to be learning all about these many tag words that go along with Jupiter, because this is that month, right? And look what he's doing. I mean, the mass of the recall, how many that were recalled, nearly all. That's Jupiter, the abundance. Holy cow. So here we go. And we can go through Jupiter rules aristocrats. Jupiter rules attorneys. Jupiter rules awards, bailiffs, banking, banks, banquets, barons, barristers, benediction, benefactors, beneficial, benevolent, big, big. There you go. So, yeah, this is what we got going on. This is Jupiter. Nearly all of it's, that's crazy, right? This is a Jupiter thing. And Mercury's working right with them, right? And Mercury is trying with Jupiter. So here is that trine that Mercury's working on in his retrograde. So, as I said, we cannot Mercury cannot hide from our eye when we come looking for him, especially when he goes retrograde. So moving on here, what do we have here? Second cold wave envelopes China. Beijing, China's Beijing in snow and ice. This is what's happening. The second cold wave envelopes China's Beijing in snow and ice, and they say that it could be record. It could be like the record. Cumulative snowfall in some of the areas by Friday could be the highest in 10 years. So when we're looking at our chart for right now, look what's happening here. Surprise. Who rules surprises? No one, but nobody rules surprises except for Uranus. Uranus is the king of surprise. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, which is the second month of winter, or the second sign of winter, I should say. Capricorn's the first sign. And remember, Mercury's just gone retrograde. And who does Mercury rule? Mercury rules students. It's a true thing. Holy cow. Most of Anchorage's schools are closed Wednesday. Who rules Wednesday? Let's talk about Mercury today. Mercury is definitely on a retrograde trip, and Jupiter is here with the storm, because this is it. I mean, you got to remember where Jupiter, where the sun is. The sun makes its meeting and on the cusp of the third decant of Sagittarius. And who rules that third decant of Sagittarius? Who rules that third decant? Because the first decant is Sagittarius, second decant is Sagittarius, Aries, and then the third decant would be Sagittarius, Leo. So here we are. He's moving into the Leo sign of this. And look how it is. You know, we have the time reported by the police. The Anchorage police reported 15 stranded vehicles as well as 4 non-injury collisions. Mars is about. Remember those 3 guys hanging out together? So when we look at the chart here, yes, we have the chart all pulled up here for 8:30 a.m. Anchorage. And look at the ascendant. The ascendant is right there, 3 degrees Sagittarius. The descendant is 3 degrees Gemini. And once again, as I said before, it's very important when you launch charts and when you're looking at events. It's very important to know your chart, because here I am, a Gemini ascendant, and Gemini is on that 7th house. And I'm sorry about yesterday's. I made a few mistakes yesterday on the live podcast, unedited, off the cuff. I was going over a 7th house thing and how it refers to Jupiter, but that is me making a flip-flop, and I was a little nervous. And on my 7th house being a Gemini ascendant, my 7th house, on the cusp of that 7th house is Sagittarius, which would give that house an influence of Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn, because you have the 7th house being the natural house of Libra, and Libra being ruled by both Venus and Saturn, right? So that's where I made that mistake yesterday. So I hope that you would please forgive me on that. But moving forward, let's look at this chart. Look at the 5th house. Look at the 5th house here. The 5th house is small, right? The 5th house is small, and look at Uranus there, right? When we look at the article here about Anchorage, and we have to look at this. It says most Anchorage schools are closed today. Most Anchorage schools are closed Wednesday due to poor road conditions after an overnight snowstorm dumped at least a foot of snow on much of the city. According to the Anchorage School District, Wednesday is a remote learning day. Uranus is a remote guy. Yeah, he's out there. He's out there. He's right there, stuck between Neptune and Saturn. He's remote. Uranus is a very cold place as well, just like Pluto and Neptune. That's why these planets, that's why some of these individuals that have these planets major league ruling their lives has that cold side, right? So we could go on to this. So let's see here. With going to the National Weather Service had expected the storm to bring 4 to 8 inches of snowfall starting Tuesday. Now remember, Tuesday is that day ruled by Mars, okay? 15 stranded vehicles, as well as 4 non-injury collisions. And when we look at that, first house, right? The mass, right? There's a group of them. So we have Mars sitting there on the cusp, right? Oh, he's on the cusp. He's right over the trade-over period for the second decan of Sagittarius. And then we see the sun there as well at 21 degrees. He's just over that trade-over period of that third decan. And then we have moon. Now, the moon is very important for this, and the reason why is because the moon has just moved in to Capricorn. And the moon rules the water, right? The moon is the partner planet of Saturn, right? So the moon, which is ruled by Cancer, which rules the water, has moved into the crystallizing sign of Saturn, right? It's Saturn's crystallization that brings the snowflakes all their characteristics. We have to understand that. Because those little snowflakes, they become shards, right? And that's that whole entire Capricorn thing. And now we have this Mercury retrograde, right? And this Mercury retrograde is full on at 8 degrees 28 minutes. This is where Mercury is. And sure enough, here he is. He's on the cusp of the second house. And look at Pluto there. Holy cow. Now we got to go further here because Mercury's in this Capricorn sign. Capricorn rules what? Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. There isn't a cold ruling planet for Capricorn. And Saturn rules volcanoes, right? Saturn rules volcanoes. Saturn rules mountains. Right? So if you're attracted to mountains or if you're attracted to Banff, you got to remember Saturn rules these mountains. We have to travel to Banff via a jet or a long distance drive. And we do so with Jupiter. And Jupiter is who rules the park, right? Jupiter is ruled by Sagittarius, and Banff National Park is a Sagittarius. It's a true thing. It's one of the reasons why I'm here, because fire signs are attracted to other fire signs. But most importantly, I'm a Gemini ascendant, which puts Sagittarius on my 7th house, and the 7th house of my Sagittarius descendant is Banff National Park. There's explanations for everything. So, talking about Sagittarius, and then we know that the ash from volcanoes, and see this ash advisory, it's that Mercury thing, right? Mercury retrograde, ash advisory, Wednesday. Wednesday, the child of woe. Here we are, showing you how to go. And we are going with an advisory. And with there's advisory, that means there's a delay, a travel delay, perhaps. And Saturn rules delays. But it's very normal for volcanoes to erupt in Sagittarius because, one, the Earth is in an air sign, The Earth is in Gemini right now. And here I am, a Gemini ascendant, talking to you with a Mercury retrograde. Mercury with a Mercury rulership. Sorry, Mercury is retrograde right now. So I might fumble my words because Mercury's retrograde and Mercury's my ruling planet. So please forgive. And now let's move on. Let's move on to the final tab of the update of our Sagittarius New Moon. Mr. Sagittarius Ascendant himself, Joe Biden. And what is he dealing with? Joe Biden's dealing with an impeachment inquiry. And what does Jupiter rule? Jupiter doesn't rule. Jupiter does in fact rule what? Judges. It's a true thing. In this beautiful book that I have by Richard Sterling, I have all these keywords. And we go up around the J's under Jupiter. And we look at judges. And we look at judicial matters. And look, both Donald Trump and Joe Biden are both in the news, and they're both, getting some They're both getting some attention from the judges, and they're getting, and they both have judicial matters happening. And yes, it's a true thing, and they are about lawsuits and lawyers and leases and legacies and legal affairs and all these Jupiter things in these last degrees. But most importantly, when we think about this last decade of Sagittarius, we're in the Leo part of Sagittarius now. Because there's, as I said before, there's Sagittarius, Aries, and then Sagittarius Leo. And Leo rules authorities, and the authorities are, putting the magnifying glass over Joe's, rebellious nature, right? Because all planets want to rebel in some way, and there's going to be bad side. There's the bad side of Jupiter, that stormy side. Jupiter's that Santa Claus, happy guy bringing presents, but Jupiter wants to be stormy. He wants to propel a missile through a building and blow the building up, right? He wants that building to be built, but then again, he says, well, let's blow the building up. I'll propel, it'll be unexpected. That unexpected thing is Uranus, like the surprise. And I'm pretty sure if we go over to the Uranus page, we will find surprises. Let's go under SU. Yep, surprises, sudden, switchboards, strangers, spectacular, spasms, sonar, spark plugs. Here we go. These are Uranus kind of rulerships. And it was a surprise. And why was it a surprise? Why was it a surprise dump of snow for Anchorage? Because Jupiter is trying with Mercury, but Jupiter is also in the house of Venus, and he's hanging out with Mr. Surprise, Mr. Uranus guy, right? Mr. Uranus. But look, guys, this has been our new little addition to our playlist, and I tell you, as I said before, it's going to be a playlist. This is a Mercury retrograde, 3 weeks of covering Mercury retrograde, and 28 days of the Sagittarius New Moon cycle, and how many things will pop up for the next, because as we said before, Mercury is so easy to catch red-handed when he's retrograde. Thanks for having me, folks, and I appreciate your views. Don't forget to lightly press that like button or that like thumb, and if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe, because I'm going to keep this up because this is what I'm born to do. I'm Mercury. I'm here to report. And the Leo part of me wants to entertain and be diplomatic with sharing the fire. All the best, folks, and see you tomorrow. Cheers. Over and out.